McDonald, Jared Hennings, save me. How are we doing this very hot Thursday morning?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well.
Yeah, just, I think everybody's life is normally busy, and this week seems to be an example of that as well.
You aren't kidding. School's, starting, Lewis and Clark back up and running, and now with that, I mean, talk about a really cool opportunity for everyone to really gain some insights on a really such an influential photographer right here from the area, and that's going to happen with Robert J. Ellison's photo exhibit. It's already open, correct, at the Lewis and Clark?
Yes. Do you want me to, I'll talk about the exhibit, and then Jared, maybe you can talk about Saturday's event.
Sure.
A little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
By the way, you were awesome on TV yesterday.
Thank
Good job.
you. That was fun. Got to traverse downtown St. Louis.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Wanted to throw that plug in.
Thank you. So the exhibit opened on the 14th, and it goes through the 31st. It's open 6 days a week. Weekdays from 10 to 4. And Saturdays from 10 to 2, though this Saturday's a little bit different because we have the event coming up. But we chose 100 photographs that were taken by Robert J. Ellison from 1963 to 1968 that cover the Civil Rights Movement. We'd have 5 events, marches from that, and then the rest of it is the Vietnam War. So there were 4,000 photographs that the Wisconsin Veterans Museum sent to us to choose from, and we had to narrow that down to this 100.
How hard of a process was that?
Oh my gosh!
It wasn't easy. I'm glad I wasn't involved in that process. I mean, I was on the committee, obviously, but not involved in that process. That was almost solely Lacy.
Well, it was one of those things that almost had to be one person to figure it out because it was just. None of them were in order or labeled. So because when Robert died, he died when he was 23. He died in Vietnam. His plane was shot down. So these were all photographs that belonged to his mother and that she donated to the Wisconsin Veterans Museum. So they'd gotten them digitized, but they didn't have all of the information on what there was. So there were brief descriptions just of, some of the places he went in Asia when he was over there, and then also just kind of a general civil rights movement. And he took photographs for Ebony and Jet and Time and Newsweek. So we were also able to look at when he was credited in those magazines to kind of figure out, he was in Selma, we know that for sure. He was in Mississippi, we know that for sure. And so I did everything from looking at street signs and then figuring out where the location was to, there was a school segregation event in Georgia, and one of the girls in one of the photographs had her school name on the back of her jacket. And so I would then put that in the Crawfordville, Georgia category. And if I saw Martin Luther King Jr. wearing a shirt that I recognized from the Selma March, I'd put that in the Selma folder. And so it was first categorizing it and then kind of figuring out what we had and then choosing from there.
Well, I mean, number one, talk about being a detective a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and two, I mean, I think this is so unique because you're right. I don't think if you had multiple people doing this, you have to it seems like a one-person operation.
It had to be.
Especially because you have someone going, well, maybe we pull this here. You got to tell the story, but if you have multiple people trying to tell the same story, that can get a little bit, confusing.
Well, and Jared's not giving himself quite enough credit because I would say, okay, what do you think about this? And then the rest of the committee would give thoughts on it and have suggestions. And so it was really collaborative. But yeah, in terms of I was looking at restaurant blogs, I was looking at fashion blogs, weird stuff to get to a lot of this. But it was really cool.
Well, and what I think is so fascinating is the tie-in that Robert Ellison has with the community with Lewis and Clark because his mom was actually at the women's college, correct?
Yes.
That's what I was trying to remember. So that's very fascinating to me. And now, was he at Mississippi Valley too?
It was called Western Military Academy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Robert Ellison graduated from Western, and then even additionally, his great-grandfather was a founding member of Western Military Academy. And then when you tie that in with, as you've just alluded to, his mother, who graduated from Monticello College, which was the precursor to Lewis and Clark. Those are some very relative and pertinent ties that, why we thought that this would be a good beneficial fit for the college, not only for the college, but for the community as well.
Well, you just hit it right on the head, Jerry. I'm telling you, this is it's so cool because you have an individual who gained national, recognition for these photos and for taking photos of the most really tumultuous times you could imagine. The civil rights movement all the way through Vietnam. 2 talking points still to this day. You are blowing up our text line. That is my text line notification. We will get to the text messages, I promise you, in a second. Gotta like that. But, with that, talk about just the tenacity of Robert Ellison himself, or Ellison, and then talking about the guts to have this, to go into these places and, take these photos that I'm sure not very many people were really wanting to go do because of the safety concerns and then beliefs at the time. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, in both the marches and in Vietnam, he was constantly having to be on guard for dangers. The way that the people there were. So his whole thing was that he wanted to show what was actually happening, both in the United States and in Vietnam and abroad. He traveled to several other places too. But there were all kinds of quotes about how brave he was. And when he was killed, he was eulogized it was right before Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. And Ebony had a whole spread on Martin Luther King Jr., but they included a reference to Robert Ellison in there too, in that issue. And so he gained respect from pretty much all the people that he worked with.
Well, and that's why I just think this is so important to recognize and go through and take a look at. This is somebody that, talk about ties to a community with Western Military and Monticello, and then being able to go out there and really just show the story of what's going on in the 60s with the civil rights movement in Vietnam. And to me, that is just so eye-opening to go, a small-town guy from, Godfrey or Alton, Illinois area is able to go and make not national, but international waves with your photography.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So now as you're laying this out, how do you, kind of timeline this or, make it so where it's kind of streamlined where there's so many pictures and you're going through this? How do you set up the exhibit itself?
Well, we mostly did do a timeline. With the civil rights movement, it was a lot easier because it was, the March on Washington in 1963 and then going on from there. And then Vietnam, we did more by category. So it was, he observed something called booby trap school, where they learned how to avoid
booby traps.
The booby traps.
The booby trap. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we did that. We did sort of general military life. We did civilian life in Vietnam because I kind of wanted to show, we all wanted to show what life was like, not just for the soldiers, but just the people that were affected by the Vietnam War too. So it was both timeline chronologically and then by category.
That's just incredible. And now, how long would you think it will take to make your way through the exhibit?
Would you say it's going to, I would think on average you could probably do it in between 30 to 40 minutes when you think.
Yeah.
The one aspect about the pictures that I like is that I guess it really just showed the inherent ability that Ellison had as far as taking these pictures, because when you look at the faces and you look at the images and you're just right up close, it almost seems like that you're a part of the picture.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if they had a telescopic or a zoom lens back in the day, but just the way that he was able to capture the faces and the images and what was going on, you really feel like that you're a part of the picture itself. The photographs really just kind of jump out at you.
Yeah. Well, and great point on that, too, because I was thinking while you guys were talking here is the development process for these photos. We're kind of, my generation will never understand what it's like to develop a picture. You take one, that doesn't look too good. Let me reposition the camera. You didn't have that opportunity to do that in the 60s. You had to take shots and just kind of use your talent and skills and develop them for the best. That's what I think's so cool about this and shows his talent.
Yeah, it does. And, the other thing about Ellison's tenure taking pictures in Vietnam, he wasn't required to go to Vietnam, obviously. And because he was a son whose father had died in a preceding war, he was really exempt from even going to Vietnam. But he chose that, and I think that was primarily because there were many members of his family that were involved in service in the military, and so I think he felt some kind of a commitment to still honoring that.
Yeah.
So,
and that, talk about, that to me defines the man right there. To be able to say, I don't have to go do this. I want to show the world what's really happening down in this war and not like what you said, Lacy, showing the villagers and the citizens of Vietnam that were just, caught in the crossfire in a lot of ways. And to me, that's just, it's groundbreaking stuff. It really is for the time, groundbreaking for some of these pictures. What's your biggest takeaway of Robert Ellison, the person, whenever you're going through and doing this research?
Good question.
I don't ask very many of those, Jared.
What is the takeaway that we have of Robert Ellison? Go ahead, Lacy.
I can't believe he was so young. Like, he was 23 when he died. And between 63 and 68 when he was killed, he took 4,000 photos. And that's just the ones that we have. There could be other ones that got lost. There could be things that didn't make it to the museum. But he also seemed to have a sense of humor. We don't really highlight that in the display because it's a more serious exhibit. But there were a lot of pictures that he took of animals because he was, at first, when he went to college, he went to the University of Florida. He was interested in reptiles. And so we have all these pictures of, lizards and stuff that he took. And then he got interested in photography and started working for the student newspaper there. And then that turned into a love of photography and how he started working. He was freelance first. He was going to these marches while he was in college. And so there was just a lot of ambition, but he also seemed like he was a really interesting and kind of fun person too. He got in trouble at Western Military Academy for having too many animals in his room. They had to move his ferret to the gym or something. There are all kinds of things, but one of his classmates is going to be at the event on Saturday, and he's going to talk a little bit more about what Robert was like at Western Military Academy.
Wow, that's incredible. And Jared, what's your takeaway?
The adjective that I would use to describe Ellison would be courageous. Because if you look at where he was in the midst of the civil rights movement, taking pictures in what could be perceived as a fairly dangerous kind of a situation. Obviously, there was danger that was imminent when he was in Vietnam, so he was risking his life there too. So that would be the adjective that would first come to mind to me, is how courageous he was, to be involved in both of these notable historical markers in our nation's history.
Without a doubt. I couldn't have said it better myself. With that being said, can you guys hang out for a second? I got to pay a bill.
Sure.
It's 9:37. We'll take a quick break, and we'll detail the event coming down the pipeline on the 26th, just in 2 days. So set your alarm clocks. We'll be back here in a few.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alt Memorial campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Is it time to buy, sell, or even time to consider a short sale of your property? Meet Lisa Webb, owner of 3rd Street Realty. This local, women-owned, family-operated realty group has over a decade of experience in foreclosures, first-time home buying, and so much more. 3rd Street Realty prides themselves on holding your hand through the entire process. Let their expertise guide you to your dream home. Visit 3rdstrealty.com and start your journey with Lisa Webb today.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
9:39, where you been? Oh yeah, sorry, sent you to a commercial break. Hey, coming up in 2 days, you guys can get really great experience and so much more information about Robert Ellison and just who he is as a person too, and some more details on those amazing photos. Jared, can you give us some more information about this event?
Sure. The event is going to occur this coming Saturday at 2 o'clock in the auditorium at Hathaway Hall. We're going to have a panel that will feature 4 differing perspectives.
Okay.
We're going to have Linda Nevlin, who is a former graduate of Monticello College, so she'll offer that perspective. We will have Bill Connie. Connie is an individual that was at Western Military Academy during the same time when Robert was attending there. We'll have John Chappell, who is a professor from Webster University. He teaches U.S. history with specificity in Vietnam era.
Okay.
And then to cover kind of the civil rights area, we're going to have Pastor Danny Holliday. He was actually a medic in Vietnam. And so those will be the 4 panelists that, as I mentioned, will unravel some of the layers of the time span of their knowledge of Robert Ellison. And then to direct or to spearhead this will be KSDK television, not radio, as I said one other time.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be radio back in the day.
Yeah, KSDK TV news director Art Holliday.
Oh, there you go.
So he will be the MC, and so we're really looking forward to offering this opportunity to the community. I mean, we have a pretty robust military committee, community, I should say.
Absolutely.
From VFWs and American Legions.
Yep.
And so we think that they would be a specific audience that would be intrigued by this kind of information. Families who just have kids that want to know more about this time span. And so, we just think that it is a widening opportunity for just people to come. And since it's going to be in Hathaway Hall, which seats roughly in the neighborhood of 900 people.
Beautiful venue.
Yeah. I mean, what we would love, and I don't want to undershoot our numbers, but if we could get 400 to 500 people in Hathaway, which will still look like that we don't have anybody there.
Right, you're right about that.
Yeah, I mean, really.
I've told people that before. Not to cut, I said in Hathaway, you better sell out, otherwise it looks empty.
Yeah. So with that size of a venue and the opportunity for this to be a learning experience and engaging opportunity, and so after the panelists answer various questions, then there will be some opportunity as well for the audience to ask questions too. And so it's going to be, interactive opportunity too. So
well, that's what whenever you're talking about the individuals who would be interested, I'm thinking too, off the top of my head, young photographers. I mean, talk about the correlation and where we are in society right now, and all the national news stories that I refuse to talk about anymore because they make me sad. I mean, there's correlating factors, and then talking about a little bit of, Robert's ethics too, and his morals, because you can see those in each shot, and what he was trying to, translate to us at home, that trying to get pictures of the war and seeing what's going on in Selma and the likes of it. I mean, to me, that's a great way to learn some insights on how to do something the right way.
Yeah. Well, and then also, I mean, because of the connection to Monticello College,
right?
We would hope that there are various alums who would find out about this information, find out about this opportunity, and that they would be incentivized to come also. So there are definitive pockets within our community that we would hope would see that this event is going on, and they say, hey, let's bring not only myself, but let's bring family members. Let's bring kids and come out to the event, because honestly, I think that the more people that we have, I think the better the reaction, the better just the overall impression of what is going to occur this coming Saturday at 2.
That's a great point, and actually a couple of great questions coming in. Have you had any friends or relatives of Robert reach out as you guys are announcing this and going through the media channels of it?
Well, that's actually how this started.
Really?
Bo Jackson and C.B. Jackson both live in the area and with their families, and they are Robert's cousins. And so Bo came to me late last year to talk about if there would be a possibility that the library could help coordinate something, because it was the 60th anniversary of Robert's graduation from Western Military Academy and the 55th of his death. And so I said, yeah, sure, maybe we can figure something out. And so I talked to Jared and also several other people at Lewis and Clark, and we kind of figured out how to make it happen. But yes, his family has been involved from the beginning.
Really cool.
So yeah, it's been really nice.
And now, was there ever, and actually, great question, because that leads me to my final question, I think. I need the audience every once in a while. Okay? But when you're doing this, does the family, when you guys are working with them, go, hey, we'd really like to see X, Y, and Z? Or were they pretty good about letting you guys kind of tell the story with their kind of input and collaboration without being, too involved?
Well, Bo was on the committee.
Okay, so that's a great thing to have.
Yeah, and so I, showed all the committee members all the photos that we were thinking about using. Bo had, family information that he could share, give some context, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think it's always really nice to have the people that actually cared for this person involved, because you don't want it to just be a story without any personality. I mean, it's really important to have that background. So I always like having family members involved.
I think it's huge because, you really get to know the individual more and really get to tell who they are as a person too, as well as who they were as a professional photographer. I mean, that's, to me, very important. And with that being said, I forgot to ask this, but I'm pretty sure I've asked you before and got the answer. Well, Robert died in Vietnam, didn't he?
Yes, he was killed when he was in a plane. He bribed his way on with cigarettes and beer to go back to Quezon, and the plane was shot down on his way.
Wow.
And as kind of a tragic, well, I won't call it overwhelmingly tragic side note, but that his father actually died at the similar age in World War II. Mm-hmm. Wow. And so they were both 23. As a matter of fact, when Robert's father died, Robert was 6 months old, and so he never even met his dad. Right. But similarly, unfortunately, they died at the same year of life.
Mm-hmm. And, I think something else that's fascinating, I think that's the way I want to wrap this up today is, and by the way, sorry for keeping you guys way too long. I told you 10 minutes, and I always keep you 40, but I think it's so fascinating, the amount of really interesting people that have lived in Alton and lived in this area that have done really amazing things internationally, nationally, or regionally. And does it surprise you ever when you're going through and having people reach out and you're looking through the story of an individual, just how many people here have really amassed and accomplished just amazing things?
Yes, But I also think, all history is kind of local. And so one really cool thing of this, and now I'm going to be taking up all the time, but one really cool thing that's happened with this is that I've connected with people that were involved in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and other places of the country.
Wow.
So I contacted someone from the Civil Rights Movement Archive who lives in California to say thank you for all the work they had done because it really helped me with my research. And he said, happy to help. Do you have any questions? And I was like, well, you shouldn't ask me that. Now I do. And so he connected me with someone in Georgia who was able to identify a lot of the people in the photographs that I couldn't figure out.
Wow.
And the Civil Rights Movement Archive only had 2 photographs from the Georgia school bus and school segregation struggle. And so now they're working with the Wisconsin Veterans Museum to get some of those photos into their collection. So our work in this is
It's going to be further.
it's going to be, it's contributing, to other places. And then Georgia, they're probably going to have the same sort of situation where they're working with the Wisconsin Veterans Museum as well. So it's a pretty cool way for our work and his legacy to go beyond just this exhibit.
Well,
It's a win-win, obviously.
is,
It really
yeah.
is a win-win. Yeah,
it
it's a win-win
really is.
situation.
Talk about a snow globe effect right there and keeping the train moving. Well, and too, what I think is my big takeaway is everything that you guys do with these exhibits and taking a look back in history and recognizing somebody, it's always detailed. You know, when you're going in, you aren't just seeing pictures on a wall. You're getting a little bit of details behind it and what this shot is here and why. And to me, it shows more of your guys' passion, but also it gives us more of a reason to go out instead of going, well, maybe I'll go over to, the 314 and check out one of their museums. Well, you have the opportunity to take a mini trip to Lewis and Clark and go through basically a museum exhibit. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, truly.
That's what I think is so cool about this is you guys having the opportunity and ability to bring these exhibits, museum quality exhibits, right here to us. That's what I think is just so awesome.
Well, I mean, if we want people to come out to the exhibit, to come out to the event on the 26th, then we want them to be impressed by what they see.
Yep.
And we feel pretty doggone confident that once they come and they go through the exhibit and they see the variety of pictures, the descriptions, they can get a chronological historical view as far as what Robert Ellison was about.
Yeah.
And we feel pretty confident that they will be impressed by what they see.
Oh, and I'm not even confident. I know for a fact it's at 98 degrees right now almost, and they're gonna love it. And with that being said, what one last time? When's the event? What time does it start?
Sure, that's this coming Saturday, August the 26th. It will begin at 2:00 in the Hathaway Hall Auditorium. One significant point that we didn't bring up, but I would hope that people probably realize it, is that it is free. So, anything free that is going to inspire and educate, hopefully that will also be an incentive for people to come. But it will be this coming Saturday, beginning at 2. We're probably planning, we have a 2-hour time frame allotted, but we don't think the panel and the questions and answer segment will prolong it to that 2-hour time frame. I guess you could say our hope is that maybe at maximum it should last somewhere between an hour 15, hour and 30 minutes. And then if those that come want to go to the exhibit afterwards, then they can. So that is the option as well.
Really cool. I'm going to get this text line thrown on this computer one day because you guys sent so many messages, I don't even know where to start. So with that being said, if you had a question that maybe I didn't tackle, you had a perfect opportunity to ask. That will be the Saturday, 26th?
Yes, 26th.
I forgot what day of the week we were on. I was getting nervous there, Jared and Lacy. With that being said, what's the best way for people to find out more information or call if they have questions?
The information is on our website, so that would be lc.edu. When the homepage comes up, if you look to the left, there's a category at the top that says Campus News, and so there is a link that has a picture, I believe, of the unfiltered lens icon, and they would click on that, and then that will give you information relative to the exhibit time frame. frames the event this coming Saturday. And so that is one of the easiest way. Or feel free. My number is 468-6400. And so you can call my number at the college. I'm sure Lacy would say you could call her. Just don't call her cell phone. And,
I've accidentally given that number out before.
Oh, no.
No, I almost in the newsletter. Almost. So,
Only in horseshoes and hand grenades, right?
But yeah, and it's been really great for Hainer Library and Lewis and Clark to collaborate on this. So that's been a really cool thing too. So you can contact the library or Lewis and Clark and figure out more details of that.
And stop by on Saturday and just enjoy this just fantastic discussion and panel. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by today. This was really cool, and my apologies for if you got places to be, it's on me this time. 9:53, a little bit of change on this 24th day of August, 9:54, but who's counting? We'll take a quick break, wrap up this 9 o'clock, and we'll see what other trouble I can cause before the 10 o'clock hour starts right here on this 24th day.